Hey Uplifters, welcome. Uh, hey Uplifters, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to my channel, hit the post notification bell to be notified every time I upload. So, my channel is basically bringing awareness to, sexual abuse, mental health, and all that good stuff. But I want to bring awareness to this situation because, yeah, I'm gonna just get into it. I'm gonna just get into it. So I have my notes. So I look down. That's because I have my notes right here in this area right here. But okay, so have you ever seen someone that wasn't the average size, and you question how they became overweight? I know like a lot of us, I'm not gonna say a lot because I don't know who watches My 600 Pound Life, but I know that I watch that show, and I know others watch the show, and maybe the question come about like how they became that big or whatever the case is. Do you assume they're greedy and lazy? Do you just assume that by just looking at them and their weight and just coming to the conclusions like, oh, that person's lazy, they're greedy, they have to be, look at their weight type deal? Have you ever thought about that? We fail to realize that being overweight can be caused by so many things: health issues, depression, and traumas that can play a role in why someone may become obese or overweight. Depression seems to go hand in hand with obesity and depression, and just, yeah. Why does one become depressed / overweight? Simple answer is it's life. Like it's like a lot that goes into like somebody being depressed. Like, I have my notes here, but I want to just like talk about it because I'm like the perfect example. Like, of course, everyone knows that like I'm not the average size. So I have my notes, but I don't want to look at my notes anymore. Like, because this is my life. I live it. No one has ever like came up to me necessarily, and like, of course, nobody's gonna come up to you and ask you like why you get that big or like anything like that. But of course, thoughts run through somebody's head of why someone is overweight or whatever the case is. Like I said, perfect example, My 600 Pound Life, right? But yeah, for a long time, I talked about this on a lot of my videos or whatever the case is, but for a long time I didn't know why I was depressed. I didn't even know what depression was when I was younger, but I didn't know that I also was overeating either, or like being an emotional eater. And that's why I said I feel like depression and obesity kind of go hand in hand, because if you're depressed, we tend to, I'm not gonna say a lot of us, it's just some of us, we tend to go to food to comfort us and to make us feel better, even though like as soon as we feel another emotion, we run to food again. Like, we could be happy, we could be sad, we could be any emotion there is, we run to food to help us with that. For the ones that are over eaters, emotional eaters, that's exactly what we do to cope. We also can cope we also use eating to cope with traumas and just life in general. We sometimes go through things that break us emotionally and mentally. We could go through things like that, and we don't know how to express our feelings. So we, like I said, we went to food. Yeah, like I don't like, this is not a hard topic to talk about, because I talk about the hardest topics of all, like sexual abuse. That's a hard topic, right? But it's just like when you're me being like vulnerable to talk about, like, this is like me pretty much. Like, it's, of course, people look at you differently or can look at you differently. You can like not pay it no mind, of course, or like sometimes it just gets to us because we know that people will prematurely judge us just based off what they see. They don't know our stories. They don't know what we've been through to make us become overweight. But they just assume the worst without knowing who we are. But I do have a scenario that I want to read from my handy dandy notebook. Of course, this is my own scenario that I came up with. I mean, I guess because of my situation, but this is a scenario. As a child, Lauren was abused. She was sexually, mentally, physically, and emotionally abused by her parents, the people that were supposed to protect and love her. She couldn't tell anyone because she was too afraid to. She kept it all in. So she turned to food. Even though we all need food to survive, Lauren became addicted to food. She loved the way it made her feel for that moment. As she ate, all her feelings went away, bite by bite. Lauren would be classified as an emotional eater, someone that learns to turn to something, food, to comfort her. Lauren, the traumatized little girl, eventually became the obese young lady, using food to make her feel good. No matter what or how much she ate, she couldn't get full. She was trying to fill the void of the broken pieces of her childhood and life. Does this scenario make you think now? We don't know someone's story just by looking at them, right? Like, we don't know what someone's gone through. Like, a lot of the time, like, I've been watching My 600 Pound Life for so long that, like, it's like I can kind of sense when I know that someone has been sexually abused as they start telling their story or whatever the case is. Like, sometimes I can't survive, sometimes I can't. And it's just like, yeah, I'm pretty sure they've been sexually abused. I could just tell by their demeanor or like just the way they carry themselves or their body language can just, I guess because, like I said, I'm a survivor. I've been sexually abused, so that's why I guess I know or can sense when that's the case. But a lot of like people just, like I said, they just judge someone based off of their looks, and they assume that they're greedy, they're lazy, they don't want to do anything, they just want to sit in the house and they want to eat. They just whatever the case is, that I know that people may think, because, like, let's be real, like, we just think the worst of someone and we don't even know them, or we could just judge without even knowing them. And sometimes we don't even care to get to know someone to even like know what they've gone through, whatever the case is. And sometimes even if you do know someone, you're not going to know their story because everyone doesn't share that side or that story with everyone or anyone at all. But yeah, I just wanted to speak on that, like, slightly, because I just want people to be more aware of their thoughts and how they look at someone. Like, we don't know anyone's story, like I said, and just because someone is overweight or sometimes underweight or whatever the case is, we can't just assume like negative and bad thoughts about them. Like, we shouldn't judge someone anyways, because that's not our place to do. But as human beings, I guess that's what we do. But I just want to bring awareness to like how depression and trauma and life in general can make someone become obese. I'm gonna see, I have like a lot of other notes here, but I'm trying to see if I hit all my key points, because, you know, I love taking notes. So yeah, like I was saying, like, judging someone based off of their looks, it's never okay to do. It's deeper than their outer appearance. An overweight person can become depressed, and a depressed person can become overweight. It's not easy being either, if you ask me. Learning where obesity can stem from is important. We never want to prejudge someone based off of what we think we know. Circumstances dealing with health issues can cause a domino effect. So, like, I had another, of course, more little topics here in my other notes, because, yeah. And I'm just going to read this maybe word for word, because, yeah, I don't want to skip any important stuff that I wrote down here. Often there are specific circumstances related to health issues which cause us to eat carelessly, and that sort of mindless eating leads us right into obesity. Turning to food to cope with emotional stress and other overwhelming situations are all we know how to do at times. It's a coping mechanism. Uneventful times are normally triggers, and food is oftentimes easily and readily accessible. Mental health is a big thing, and sometimes we want to sweep it under the rug and not deal with it, thinking that things will get better on its own. That's not always the case. Sometimes getting help for the issues we face in life is extremely important. Okay, so I have this. I forgot all about this. It's a transparent moment here yet again, but I forgot that I wrote this part. Which I like put everyone that has watched my videos, and I take notes. I like to take notes, and I just, yeah. But it says, not who I am, but what I did. Transparent moment. I didn't know how to cope with being sexually abused by a family member. I didn't know how to talk to anyone because I was a child, and I didn't know how to process everything. So I turned to food, becoming an emotional eater. I eventually became depressed throughout the years. Maybe I've always been depressed, but didn't know it. I've been through some rough times with mental health and started eating as a coping mechanism. Learning how to find other ways to deal with life can be challenging. Depression isn't easy, and being overweight isn't easy either. Word of advice for those that judge someone based on their size: you don't know someone's story, and even if you did, maybe you wouldn't understand why they would turn to food to help them. For those people that are depressed, maybe they can't trust people easily to get professional help. So just be mindful and not think the worst of others. For the ones that struggle with obesity and or depression, don't give up on being the best you. Healing for life is important. Do and can be done. You're strong and you're worth being happy. Obesity and depression sucks, but we can beat them both. Thrive and strive to get your life back by any means necessary. So yeah, that's all I have. And like, I always or I used to always say in my videos too, if anyone that needs someone to talk to and all that good stuff, I'm always ready and to listen to somebody. You don't have to personally know me to just come to me and talk to me, because I love listening. I love helping people, and I know that I was at a point where I didn't have anyone, or I felt like I didn't have anyone to talk to. So I always want to let my subscribers and my uplifters know that if you ever need someone to talk to, you can count on me. So yeah, make sure you comment, share.